I call the meeting to order of the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders. Please stand for the salute to the flag. And Freeholder Beasley, will you please conduct the salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Beasley.
Present.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Present.
Freeholder Clark, absent. Freeholder Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Present.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Owens.
Yes. Present.
Freeholder Vice President Sebald.
Present.
Freeholder President Watson, absent.
I have before me certification from the clerk that this meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Madam Clerk, are there any topics of discussion?
Madam Chair, there are none.
There are no items listed for action on tonight's agenda, so if there is any member of the public who would like to comment on any issue, please come to the microphone and state your name, address, and phone number for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Madam Clerk, let the record reflect that there is no one wishing to speak at this time. Ordinance is on second reading. Madam Clerk, are there any?
Madam Chair, there are none.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, then let's move on to ordinance on first reading. Mr. Chilella, please explain the first ordinance.
Thank you, Madam President.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Clerk, please read the ordinance.
Ordinance 1, naming the Freeholder Conference Room in the Essex County Hall of Records as the Blonnie R. Watson Conference Room in honor of Freeholder President Blonnie R. Watson.
Mr. Chilella.
Yes, as this board is very well aware, President Watson has served, will be retiring at the end of this year after serving 18 years, including 12 years in leadership with dignity, grace, class, and professionalism. The administration has proposed the naming of the Freeholder Conference Board Room after President Watson. As you know, she's been very active in her community. She's been a retired United States Postal Service executive, and she's received numerous awards and accolades for her public and community service. She was first elected in 1996, subsequent re-elections to 5 consecutive terms, serving as vice president from 98 to 2002, and as president from 2003 to the present. And it is our honor to present this ordinance to this board.
Thank you very much. Before we continue, Clerk, please note that Freeholder Clark is with us. If you haven't had the chance to read the ordinance, it's fully explained in the material which we received. And President Watson is so busy with so many things that I'm taking her place tonight because she had to be at a convention for the National Cooperative Association, and right now we should all be jealous because she's in St. Thomas enjoying herself at the convention. But Mr. Chiella informed you of many of the items which are listed in the ordinance, and she is certainly deserving of having the room named after her. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Freeholder Clark.
I just think that the county executive has really been thoughtful in trying to seek out ways to recognize people, and this is yet another opportunity to recognize a person who has had a long-standing commitment to the County of Essex. So kudos to him, and certainly congratulations to our president.
Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Clark. Freeholder Bobadilla.
I just want to say that, again, to piggyback on Carol's remarks, is that we couldn't have picked a better recipient to name after the
I'm sorry, I
conference
can't
room.
hear you. Can you join me?
We couldn't have named a better recipient for the conference room, and this is somebody who's well-deserving, who has served the county well, and has served the community well, and she will be sorely missed.
Thank you.
Yes,
Freeholder
thank you,
Beasley.
Madam Chair. I'm certainly elated. It's the first time I'm getting some information regarding that. But I believe from my personal experience for the 12 years in the leadership and so much that has been accomplished in those years, I just think it's been so appropriate to have that type of honor for Freeholder President. And even though she plans to retire, her good work and her good name will loom in the county, in the Hall of Records, particularly in our conference room, for quite some while. Thank you.
Thank you for your wonderful comments, and I'm sure that Freeholder Watson will watch the Freeholder meeting on TV and hear all of these wonderful comments. Freeholder Owens.
I'd like to commend my colleagues on what they've said about our president, and I'd like to add on that I think she's done an excellent job as president of the Freeholder Board and has been an excellent leader. I think it's an excellent idea that Joseph DiVincenzo decided to do this, to name the board after her. It's well-deserved, and I'm happy to be able to serve with her.
Thank you. All right, we move on from there, and there seems to be some concern here back and forth about what we do. Mr. Parlavecchio?
Yeah, I was recommending that we take a motion to introduce it on first reading. It's not action, it's just to introduce it, so then we can move to, at a later meeting, to have second reading and public hearing on it, and then move on it.
Madam Clerk, is that fine with you?
I followed the advice of my counsel, that's why he's
Just
here,
introduce it.
Madam Chair. So, Madam Chair, I believe that all of these ordinances, and please confirm that it is correct, that we will follow the same process for the rest of them?
Yes.
Okay.
In which case, I would need a motion. So moved by Freeholder Bobadilla and second by Freeholder Clark. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Beasley?
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla?
Yes.
Freeholder Clark?
Yes.
Freeholder Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Owens?
Yes.
Freeholder Chair Siebel?
Yes.
Freeholder President Watson, absent. So moved.
We now move to ordinance number 2. Mr. Chilala, will you please?
Madam Chair, would you like me to read it into record?
Yes, please.
Okay. Ordinance number 2, bond ordinance reappropriating $383,443.62 proceeds of obligations and certain other funds not needed for the original purposes and to be used for the renovation to 6 elevators located on the Newark campus of Essex County College.
Thank you. Mr. Chilala?
Yes, Madam President. These are basically funds that the college has completed the improvements. These are balances that are left over, and the college wishes to reallocate the balance, which is roughly $383,000, for the renovations of 6 elevators here at the Newark campus.
I have a question.
Mr. Parlavecchio?
Mr. Chilala, just a question. I understand this is to be repurposed for the elevator renovations, but one of the items that's being reappropriated is a 2009 appropriation for $550,000. It looks like almost $320,000 of that has been unused. What was the original purpose for that appropriation? Do you know?
Unfortunately, I don't have that in front of me, but I will definitely get that for your office for first thing in the morning.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, my question was because it seemed that more than half of the money originally appropriated wasn't used, so I was wondering why wasn't it used, or did something come in under budget, or just change of plans?
Certainly. We'll get that for the board.
Freeholders, do you have any further comments or questions about the ordinance? If not, a motion to approve the ordinance would be in order.
To introduce.
To
Motion
introduce
to
it, sorry. Freeholder Owens moved it. Is there a second? Second by Freeholder Bobadilla. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Freeholder Owens.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano absent. Freeholder Gill absent. Freeholder Clark.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Beasley.
Yes.
Freeholder President Watson absent. Freeholder Chair Sebo.
Yes.
So moved.
Madam Clerk, we move to ordinance number 3. Please read it into the record.
Ordinance number 3, ordinance establishing the year 2015 fee schedule of the Essex County Parks and Recreation Facilities.
Mr. Chilella?
Yes. In your packet, you'll have two documents. One is the full fee schedule, and the second is an abbreviated version with the title in red listed as changes only. Changes only, I should say. There are adjustments made in this year's fee schedule in the various areas at the arena, at the golf course, environmental center. And as typical as this board has done, is to refer this matter to the the Freeholder Recreation Committee meeting to really spend some time into the discussions and the rationale as for those increases. And at your discretion, the administration is ready, willing, and able to sit down and discuss it at length. But just to highlight in the various categories, the administration has done a great deal of work in looking at rates in other counties in similar activities, and we still believe that we are still well below our competitors or other facilities that provide these services. So we believe there are fair and equitable increases in the rate schedule for next year.
Thank you, Mr. Chilella. Does each freeholder have a copy of the changes which I have here? Of the fee schedule? Yes? No?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes, they
Okay,
do.
that's what I was asking. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Madam Clerk, could you arrange with Freeholder Clark to establish a recreation meeting to go over the fee schedule?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Freeholder Clark, you'll make sure that you speak to the clerk so that schedule can be arranged. Are there any other questions or comments?
Freeholder Clark.
Freeholder Clark.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I will indeed, and I want to thank Mr. Chilella, because you were already in my head, but that's not a surprise, because you already know, and I see Tim Chris sitting out there, he already knows too. So we'll have an opportunity to vet it, and if there are any, is
Yes.
Dan sitting? Oh, he's hiding. Oh, Dan is back there. So we'll get an opportunity to look at it as well. Just by way of introduction, apparently there's about $500,000 increase. So that's something that we would want to look at, as long as it doesn't hurt the resident users too much on the things that people really enjoy, and some of the big ticket items that would require bigger ticket or increases. I noticed that actually there are some decreases. So that's interesting, and that's a good thing. I think some of the golfers are probably going to be happy about some of the decreases. There are some increases, so I know they're not going to be too thrilled about some of those. But we'll get an opportunity to vet it. So thank you
I'm
very
sure,
much.
Freeholder Clark, that
I
you'll be able to
appreciate it.
come back with a good report.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. We need to introduce the ordinance for its first reading.
Motion.
So if someone will make a motion to do so, we can move ahead. Motion by Freeholder Johnson. Is there a second? Second by Freeholder Owens. Roll call, Madam Clerk?
Freeholder Beasley?
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla?
Yes.
Freeholder Clark?
Yes.
Freeholder Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Owens?
Yes.
Freeholder President Watson, absent. Freeholder Chair Seabold?
Yes.
So moved.
We now move on to ordinance number 4. Madam Clerk, would you please read it into the record?
An ordinance regulating parking along snow-covered county roads.
Mr. Chilella?
Yes, Madam President. As you know, in the event of major snowstorms, it's some of our major thoroughfares. If we don't clear the roadways, it really affects emergencies and life safety. What this ordinance proposes to do is on all county roads, in order to keep them safe and clean during snowstorms, and for us to be able to plow and salt, we are requesting that the vehicular parking is not allowed during those snowstorms. The county has a previous resolution regarding this issue that dated back to 1969. However, the county did not have an ordinance to support this, so that the Sheriff's Department were not able to actually do the ticketing to comply with the requirement. So this ordinance basically allows the county to tow those vehicles in the event of an emergency on those county roadways. I would also point out that this will all be sent to all our municipal clerks, so they'll all be notified, as well as all the police chiefs in town, and so we will do our due diligence to make sure that this is advertised appropriately.
Mr. Chilella? Will all the municipalities be notified of this ordinance?
Yes, we will notify all the clerks as well as the police departments as well, through our OEM department.
Thank you. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? Freeholder Beasley?
Yes, do you, Sheila, prior to this, who pretty much had the responsibility of towing when there's an emergency declared like that?
Well, theoretically, we had, we didn't have the teeth in the ordinance to comply with the towing. This gives us the teeth so that we can tow vehicles on those county roadways in the event of an emergency. This just gives us the tool to do that.
In the past, have the municipalities conformed to getting cars towed when they're, particularly on county roads, when there was an emergency declared?
I can't speak globally for all municipalities. I know some have. Some county roadways are more of a thoroughfare than others. So that might be the reason why some municipalities have removed cars from those major thoroughfares. But I can't say that's across the board for all municipalities. I don't have that information.
And you use the term, this gives, what does this ordinance do? You mentioned, I couldn't understand.
This allows the Sheriff's Department, in the event of an emergency that we need to clear the roadways, the ability to tow the vehicles off county roadways so that it can be plowed and salted and screened.
Okay. We didn't have this before, this is new.
We had it, but it was very weak language, did not give the authority for the towing aspect of this.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair?
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes, Ralph, I kind of agree with the fact that you would like the county roads clean so that you can clean them correctly. But if you look at some of our cities, it's hard for them to take care of their part. And a lot of the residents park after we've came through and set their cars there because it's clean and they can get there. Now, what we're saying with this ordinance here is that they will be told if they're out there, if you got to come through there again? Oh, you know.
We did have an extensive discussion about that, and a lot of it is communications. We're not talking, we're talking about emergency extreme conditions, number one, so it's not at every snowfall that residents are not allowed to park. The other thing is that notification will be key. Today, you've got robocalls, you've got other mechanisms to notifying the public of this process. So it is an educational process involved. Cars have been towed in the past. This is nothing new. All this is actually doing is actually allowing the county to do it with an ordinance supporting it. So it's not that we haven't done it, or municipalities have not done it in the past. This is now just making it formal in an ordinance.
Well, I can see with this ordinance, it's gonna cause a real snowball effect on towing. And as you know, most municipalities, especially Newark, I'm gonna be specific about it, we've had problems with the towing companies, with them abiding by certain rules and regulations that were put in place by municipal council and all in the city. So towing has been one of the problems that most of our inner city communities have to deal with and face on a regular basis.
We do have, as this board approves every year, is that fee schedule for towing companies on county roadways. So that rate is set. This board approves that, and that would just be an addition. But what I will do is provide for the board what the old language was. I'll try to obtain how municipalities have handled this in the past, as well as what the fee schedule is for the towing. And on those county roadways where we believe are critical for life safety, avenues, thoroughfares, and so we'll provide that to the board during the week.
Thank you, Mr. Chilala. Is there another question? Freeholder Clark?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Chilala, was there any discussion with the various police departments throughout Essex County where these county roads actually are about what we're planning to do?
I know that because I've been up at the command center during emergencies and snowstorms, so there is constant communication with our Office of Emergency Management, as well as each municipal's police departments in light of all these emergencies regarding towing, regarding closing roadways. There is that constant communications with each municipality.
I was just curious. I know that you are, especially during emergencies, because everybody is kind of pulls together all in the same direction. But I'm just curious as to, with this particular ordinance, since it's something that because we're talking, you can't tow, or you're not supposed to tow unless you issue a ticket. And so that means that we're going to be ticketing and towing. So now we're going to be ticketing and towing inside of municipalities that have their own police powers to ticket and tow. There's already robocalls going out from the municipalities. Now we're talking about adding another, because in all fairness, you shouldn't start any kind of towing or anything unless you give people some notification. It's just, it seems to me to be a sticky wicket and a slippery slope. And I say that because if you already are doing it and have the ability to do it and have done it, then the question in my mind is, why do we need an ordinance giving it more teeth? especially if we've not sat down with the public safety or police departments, chiefs of police or whatever, in the various communities. I can think of the district that I represent, and we got, you know, some county roads, and there's, you know, it's just, I can even recall a time when we had to come to the county to even be able to allow people to make parking modifications to their own property so that they wouldn't get ticketed or towed. So the only thing I would say, I'm not going to say, you know, that this isn't something that you've thought about, because I believe that you have, but I think before we start giving the Sheriff's Department some other kinds of things to do, maybe we might want to rethink it with the municipalities. And if the municipalities kind of see it as a help and not a hindrance, because the last thing you want is for somebody's car to be towed, and then the authorities do this to the public, to the person. Oh no, it wasn't me, it was them. Oh no, it wasn't me, it was them, it was the county. No, it was the city. Well, who was it? And in the meantime, the citizen is suffering. So that's all I'm.
All right, Mr. Chilala, could you look into this, please, and report back?
We
at the
certainly
next
will.
meeting?
And
Thank you
this
very
is on
much.
introduction, I believe, for this evening, so
Right.
we've got plenty of time
Yeah,
to
good.
address those
Thank you.
questions.
Freeholder Beasley.
Yeah, I'd just like to add, what's been a concern for many years is, you know, who does the towing, where they relocate these cars, the cost. So whatever information you can provide, and do we have contracted agreements with towing companies, or we have a towing from the county itself? I'd like to know exactly, because that's been an issue for years, is the amount of money they're being charged and where they have to go and retrieve the car. So, thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Madam President, Mr. Chilala, one last question. Who gets the revenue from the ticket?
I believe, I don't want to misspeak, so I will get back on exactly who shares in the revenue, if there's a cost sharing.
Freeholders, we need a motion to introduce this ordinance for its first reading. And Mr. Chilala will bring us back further information next time. Do I have a mover?
I'll move it for introduction.
Moved by Freeholder Bobadilla, second. Second to the ordinance, please, Freeholders.
I'm going to second on introduction.
Second on
You get a
the
second, you do a
introduction.
second reading for this comment.
Yes. This is just on the first reading for tonight. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Beasley?
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla?
Yes.
Freeholder Clark?
Yes.
Freeholder Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Owens?
Yes.
Or will they, is there any new increase?
I know there is an increase because last year, the revenue was $6,690. This new contract goes to over $7,000.
Right, and I understand it's projected, but it looked like, at least from year one to year two, there was maybe the projections were increased. Okay, so this is an increase from the actual revenue realized for this past year.
This past year, that's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Freeholders, do you have any questions or any comments on resolution number 9? Resolution number 10. Resolution number 11. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please list the resolutions, and we'll move on to the commendations. We have commendations number 12 through 25.
See if
And-
26 now.
I'm sorry, and 26. And if you would, please list them, but before you do, freeholders, do you have any questions or concerns about any of the accommodations before we move on? Seeing none, please list them, Madam Clerk. Are there any added starters or resolutions or ordinance?
Madam Chair, there is one. Resolution number 27.
Freeholders, resolution number 27, and apparently the administration is looking for a vote on resolution number 27.
Madam Chair, would you like me to read it into the
Yes,
record?
would you please read it into the record?
Resolution 27, Department of Administration and Finance, Office of Accounts and Control, approval of the 2013 Corrective Action Plan.
Mr. Chilella, would you explain the resolution and tell us why you're requesting action tonight?
First of all, let me thank the President and the Board for accepting this as an added starter. This is a timely matter that we'd like to get this matter approved as part of our statutory requirements for the corrective action plan. I will request that, or ask our Mr. Willis come up to the microphone and address this this resolution. And if the Board has any questions, they can ask Mr. Willis directly.
Norman Willis, Chief Financial Officer. The corrective action plan,
Mr. Willis, please speak into the mic. We can't hear you.
the corrective
Thank you.
action plan,
That's better.
which is required to be submitted 60 days after the freeholders receive the statutory audit. We were trying to work out and get one resolved before we submitted it, but the finding number one, which we still haven't resolved, but we're trying to resolve it before the 31st of December. But we had to go ahead with it to submit the corrective action plan for approval to meet the 60-day deadline. Okay, the one issue regarding the, sorry. Okay, finding number one, which is, in short, is recommended that an individual surety bond in compliance with NJHC 5-5:3 30-82 for the Chief Financial Officer be obtained. This is really a recommendation, it's not a mandate, and in the 2012 comments, this is a repeat audit finding, and we have been working on trying to resolve it originally with the former risk manager and now with the new risk manager. What happened was, at this point, the risk manager contacted the insurance carrier, and it was a pricing issue that hasn't been resolved yet. And at this point, we're hoping to get it resolved by the 31st of this year.
Thank you. Mr. Parlavecchio.
Mr. Willis, just to that point, the finding number one, when you say resolved, I understand that the recommendation is not something that's mandated to have this surety bond. By resolved, does that mean we're trying to get a better price on it and we will implement the surety bond, or we're trying to get it resolved where they remove that, where that's removed from the audit findings?
Well, we're trying to get a pricing on the surety bond.
Okay, so trying to get a better, trying to get a more favorable price. Okay.
And the original thought was, as it states in the finding, that the treasurer and the assistant treasurer have a rider on our crime policy.
Okay.
So that was the original thought, to do that. But also we're trying to explore the surety bond.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you,
for
Mr.
clearing that up
Paravecchio.
for me.
Thank you, Mr. Paravecchio. And I did speak to Mr. McInerney, and he didn't have any questions for tonight dealing with this addendum. Freeholders, do you have any questions about it? If not, would someone please move the item? Do I have a motion? Freeholders?
I'm going to move it
Freeholder
because I
Clark
had
has
an
moved it. Is there a second? Second by Freeholder Bobadilla. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Discussion on
Discussion?
Yeah. I moved it, Madam President, Madam Chair, because I had an opportunity to chat with Mr. Chilella and Mr. Acker. And I was able to kind of get a grasp on what was happening. The interesting thing is that Mr. Paravecchio was not sitting there that morning, and he asked a similar question because my concern was, is it going to not be on our audit anymore? In other words, is it something that we're actually going to resolve? And we sort of felt pretty strongly, and Mr. Chilella, so I'm not going to steal his thunder, he and Mr. Acker will be talking about that a little bit more in detail. I guess Mr. Willis as well when we have our finance committee meeting. But
I'll be there.
But the intent is to ensure that neither of these findings ever show up again, simply because they've been on there before, and we don't want repeat findings to continue to show up, because you know, we pride ourselves on getting it right. So thank you so much, Mr. Chilella. Thank you, Mr. Willis, and thank you, Madam President.
And thank you, Freeholder Clark. Are there any more comments? If not, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Okay, Freeholder Owens.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Gill, absent. Freeholder Clark.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Beasley.
Yes.
Freeholder President Watson, absent. Freeholder Chair Sebald.
Yes.
So moved.
We now come to the public comment session. Is there any member of the public who would like to comment on any matter? Please come to the microphone, state your name, address, and affiliation for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Is there anyone who wishes to speak? If none, Madam Clerk, let the record show that there is no one wishing to speak at this time. There will be an affirmative action meeting October 21st at 4:30 p.m. in room 506. There will be a health benefits meeting October 22nd at 3 p.m. in room 506, and there will be a Finance Oversight Committee meeting October 22nd at 4 o'clock in room 506. Are there any other comments or suggestions? Freeholder Clark?
Madam President, I just have one request. I know that Madam President is looking into addressing some human needs with a Code Blue initiative. Could I just make a request that, in light of some of the things that I've been seeing, and I'm treading very carefully with the way I'm saying this, because I don't want to sound like an alarmist, but given that Newark Airport is one of the airports that you see in the news, given that we have some pretty good area hospitals, you know, a trauma center and the like, I know I would feel comfortable just having a little maybe special presentation or having a work session to talk about where we stand as a county. We're not Dallas County, but I would just like to see where we stand as a county. You know, had anybody told me that the gentleman that I had lunch with when I was in New Orleans at the NACO conference, Clay, would be all over the news right about now with what was going on in Dallas County, who figures? Go figure. How could you imagine? He was a delightful gentleman to have lunch with, and just as you see him on television, that's pretty much the way he was. But all I'm saying is that I just want Essex County to kind of be proactive. I would love for us to talk about it and just to assure us so that if anybody in our communities asks anything, we can say that our county has briefed us. So, Madam President, I would imagine that St. Barnabas Hospital, which is smack dab in your hometown, and I would just love for us to have a briefing. That's my request. That is my request. If there's any way that could be could happen, Mr. Chilella, I would really appreciate it.
Mr. Shaw.
Through the President, we will, on the administrative side, request the Sheriff, through his OEM department, schedule maybe a topic of discussion for the freeholders so that you can pretty much get a pretty much full understanding. But this board could also be assured that on the administrative side, with our various departments, corrections, hospital center, we too are stepping up our game because of recent state of current affairs, to make sure that the proper places that we need to contact and touch base with, hospitals and things of that nature. So we are dotting our I's and crossing our T's as we speak. But I think it's a great suggestion that the sheriff and his OEM deputy come before this board and give the board an updated plan on such disasters or critical issues of the day. So we will do that.
Thank you, Mr. Shalala. Seeing there is no more business, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
Thank you very much. See you shortly. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Some recreation, Ralph Chanella meeting with us. Some things been bumpy and some things been very positive, and want to continue to move forward. So I just want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to work together. Thank you.
And thank you for your diligence and working with the county. I could see moving ahead with great things in the future with a partnership that we've developed together. Freeholder Clark.
You know, I just want to say to Mr. Freeman's comments made me think of something that just happened. I want to thank the administration, and in particular Mr. Chilella and Mr. Salvanti, for meeting with the other group that wants to work, thank you, that wants to work with the county. It looks like
it's working.
I think soon all of the parks that really want to work with the county will be able to work with the county. And you know what? It looks like the recreational offerings are going to be really expanded. And that's a really good thing. And I understand that the tennis match
who won?
went off without a hitch, and that I don't think the EMTs had to come for the Joe D. Sharp tennis match.
I missed it. I really wanted to come to that. I didn't know about that.
So I understand it was fun by all. Okay.
Who won? Was it Ralph? Did you play too? No.
Ralph did.
Madam President, I have enough trouble with golf. I gave up my tennis racket long ago.
Okay, but I missed that match. I really intended to come to that.
Just for the viewing public, I would like to announce that our county executive was successful against
Sharp?
Mayor Sharp James in a two-set match. So Joe put Essex County first again.
That was great. I'm so sorry I missed that. We should have been there cheering the county executive, because I'm sure Sharp had his cheering him on. Okay, do we have, let's move on, Madam Clerk. Other business, Freeholder? Oh, another public comment? Thank you. I'm sorry. Please state your name for the record. And your
Edward Dew, citizen,
3
Orange,
minutes
New
to
Jersey.
speak.
Now, member of the Weequahic Park Sports Authority, also member of the Conservancy in Weequahic Park. And just like the President said, due to the partnership that we have with the county and the public, I want to thank Mr. Chinella and also Dan Cervantes. And here you go, Ralph. So the match went off.
Beautiful.
In our conservancy, we've added an entertainment portion. And we got Grumpy in the park with, what's her name? Yeah. And Elisa, what her name is. We putting on a park Halloween party on the 24th of October at Weequahic Park, Building 92. And we hope that you can stop by. If you can't, send us some candy.
We will do that.
But we will do, and it's designed strictly for the youth. And again, I want to thank University High, who participated Saturday with, they had 15 girls there. They were ball retrievers. They met with the public. They introduced themselves. And here's the situation. In that group, there's 23 members, and they want to learn how to play golf.
Oh, wow.
70% of that particular group is carrying a grade average between 1 and 4. I mean, 3 and 4. These girls are very sharp, very intelligent, and they're very active. We would like for you to remember that the University High's coach now has been recommended for the New Jersey Hall of Fame. She's great. Thank you.
Now, you know what? I think I can retire in peace. When I see Mr. Wadu come up and give Ralph a gift, I tell you, I think my mission has been accomplished. Nothing left to do. It's time, Mr. Wadu, it's time for me to go. Nothing left for me to do. Very good. I'm very pleased that it's working out, and I hope that it will continue. Huh? Yes, you're going to send me, no, send me the bill. Oh, please. Okay. All righty. We have anybody else from the public would like to speak? If not, then freeholders do any other business at this time? Comments or announcements? Freeholder Clark.
I just want to commend Freeholder Gill and Freeholder Luciano on putting on a really good Italian American Heritage celebration today. I'm going to go ahead and give him a plug in absentia. If you were here to hear him, you would probably have rushed to purchase his CD as well. His name is Vincent Riccardi, and he's a wonderful tenor. And the title of his CD is Just the Beginning. But he did 2 renditions, and one of his renditions is
It's awesome.
it's an Italian standard classic, Forever, O Solo Mio, and so,
Beautiful.
you know, how could you not love that? And then he did a Pavarotti number. So if you were like me growing up listening to Mario Lanza, it brought back shades of that. This young man, I think, really has a future. He's very, very good. But your program was good. You honored some really good folks from Essex County and from the Italian American community. And then who could have anything bad to say about that wonderful meal that you served at the end of it? So just like I always say, today, everybody was a little bit Italian, okay? And enjoyed every bit of it. Thank you.
Very good. And let me again commend, I know the county exec said we have half, how did he say it? Between the two of them, we have one Italian on the board.
Split between 2. 50%.
Yeah, 50% with Gil, 50% with Luciano. So we have one Italian on the board.
Madam,
But that was great.
Madam, I thought you was going to say Gil sang. I was ready
No.
to give him a round of applause. You didn't sing that
missed it,
song,
but it was
Gil.
really.
No, not.
Oh,
you
not
missed-
today?
Not
You're gonna
today.
hold it, right?
Not today.
Okay.
I'm
And
working
let
towards
me-
next year. If I'm
All right.
knock on wood, I'm able to come back. Then.
And let me thank you guys for allowing me to be a part of your program today. And I hope the souvenirs that I gave, that you enjoyed it. For the freeholders that did not receive the souvenir, please come to my office and we'll make, everybody, did you all receive one? But Pat, did you receive one?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. This year, I made sure that every, each one of our programs honoring the various ethnic groups in the county, that I made sure that I gave souvenirs at the end of the program. So I hope we have a couple more to go before we end the year. So again, thank you. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ceremony today. Okay, Freeholders, any other announcements? And Pat, again, thank you for the comments on the my speech today, my remarks.
It's wonderful.
And I thank you again. That was, if you didn't go to the ceremony today, make sure you go to Rosa Park. If you didn't go to the ceremony for Rosa Park today, please go sit next to the bench and look at Rosa and tell her thank you for all that she's having. I said thank you for just having me here in this position, because if it had not been for her, we probably would not have moved as fast as we did, with making sure that we all receive what we deserve as citizens in this country. Okay, no other comments? Okay, Freehold Guild.
Thank you, Madam President. I just very quickly wanted to thank everyone for their participation today, and thank the staff for their work. Thank you, Freeholder Clerk, for those kind words. But without the staff, that's not possible. I also just wanted to put in one other quick announcement. That also today we had a great announcement from our federal officials, from Congressman Donald Payne, Senator Menendez, and Senator Booker, that the county was a recipient of a federal grant of over $800,000 at the county college, specifically for job training in the area of the healthcare industry. So it's a great example of private and public partnerships that I think here at the county that we're trying to do. That was $15 million statewide, and and over $800,000, I believe, here just for Essex County, Essex County College. And also, Madam President, just wanted to apologize for not being able to be there today for the unveiling of the Rosa Parks statue. Unfortunately, my day job is keeping me away from many of the activities during the day that I would like to get to, but please know that I was, with you in spirit, and from all the pictures and everything I've seen, again, it looks like it's tremendous testament, and I believe the only statue, which I read, in New Jersey, honoring, which is actually unbelievable. If you really think about it, is pretty unbelievable. So, Mr. Freeman, you're on social media quite a bit, so I think I just saw a suggestion you made, which is great, that our area schools should be encouraged to visit. To visit, you know, when they're. I mean, we always have them to the county, but that's one more reason to encourage our schools to take a trip down to the complex, and hopefully we can follow up on that as well. So thank you.
Very good, beautiful. Thank you for your comments. Okay, just one announcement from me, and then I'll report out on our public comments. Just freeholders, I want to take a minute to make you and the general public aware of a truly special event that will take place here in Newark and in our beloved county this weekend. On Saturday, October 4th, 2014 at 9 a.m., the late Sister Miriam Teresa, a sister of charity, will be beatified at a Mass at the Cathedral Basilica of the Sacred Heart. And this special occasion, very special occasion, marks the very first time an American will be beatified at a service held in the United States, as well as the very first time a New Jerseyan will be beatified anywhere, which is the first step to become a saint in the Roman Catholic Church. So Sister Miriam Teresa was born in Bayonne, attended Bayonne's public schools, entered the College of St. Elizabeth in Convent Station, and passed away at St. Elizabeth Hospital in Elizabeth in 1927 at the young age of 26. The Sisters of Charity petitioned Rome for permission to open cause for beatification and canonization, and in recognition of Sister Miriam Teresa, saintly life, spiritual writings, and for her intercession by prayer that restored the sight of a 6-year-old boy from Teaneck, Michael Mincer, who suffered from advancing bilateral muscular degeneration. And it's my understanding that Mr. Mincer will be at the special service held on Saturday. On December 17, 2013, the Congregation for the Causes of the Saints determined the restoration of the boy's sight to be a miracle, and Sister Miriam Teresa was deemed worthy of public religious veneration at a local church. So please, if you find time in your schedule, this once-in-a-lifetime spiritual event is one you just might want to attend, and the freeholders, we will be submitting a commendation to the church of Sacred Heart on Saturday. So that's just something I wanted to share with you. I definitely plan to be there Saturday morning. No further questions. We'll announce the public comment questions. Yes.
Madam President, I just wanted to say one thing, and to thank you and the members of the board who were also supportive, and to just say to Mr. Chilella, I kind of mentioned it to you quickly in passing, but it looks like, Madam President, this is going to come up again. You recall we were talking about preschools, and you knew that we were some of the Head Start and daycare programs in Essex County were up for recertification.
I remember that.
Well, several of them got their recertification.
Fantastic.
So you know, applaud yourselves for sending that letter of support and for working with them. There's one little other matter, though, that we're trying to work on now, and that is trying to get some state funding restored that was taken away for what they call wraparound services, meaning that if a parent is a little late getting from work to pick up the child, they can keep them at the center for maybe another hour or hour and a half, and it's not going to cost the parent extra money. But there are dollars in the state budget that were actually cut out, and those dollars hurt the urban core probably more than any place else. So I'm going to be attending a meeting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. In East Orange with some centers, and that's going to be the topic of discussion. And Madam President, I will report back out to you about what's going on with that. And Mr. Chilella, I'll also report out to you. And if there's any assistance that this board or the administration can give to persuade Trenton and the governor's office to please restore those funds, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. We'll now go to the resolutions of questions, public comment from freeholder questions and public comments. Resolution 3 for the, date of the meeting was September 17th, and we're responding to that meeting, questions for that came up at that meeting. Resolution 3, freeholder budget consultant Frank McInerney asks the administration to provide a listing for each labor union and the amount of money contributed by the county to each union's development fund. That memo went out on the 18th and the response on the 29th. And Mr. McInerney, if you don't...
I have that response.
You have that already.
Yes, thank you,
Very good.
Madam President.
Again, we want to thank the administration for responding. Resolution 7, freeholder Clark suggested that a letter be written to Essex County Congressional Delegation. Memo was sent to in reference to encourage them to pursue a larger allocation of federal funds for the County Emergency Solutions Grant. That memo went to the administration on the 18th. We received a response on the 29th. So Freeholder Clark, that information should be in your package. Freeholder President Watson, Freeholder Johnson, and Clark asked the administration to explain the circumstances problem Mr. Wadu referred to. That memo went to the administration on 9/18, and the response came back 9/29. So Mr. Wadu, if you didn't receive that response, the clerk, you should have that in the mail within the next day or so. Unless you want to have the clerk to have us meet you in her office and give you a copy of the response. You'll wait for us to send it in the mail? We can send it in the mail? Mr. Wadu? You want us to wait and send it in the mail like we normally do? The response to your question, we normally mail it. You should receive it with...
No, sometimes you send it by Pony Express.
Okay, Mr. Wadu, you're going to make me not retire. Now, don't start. I was ready to retire. Okay, but you will receive it, and I guarantee it won't be by Pony Express. Okay, thank you. Freeholder Owens stated that the work needs to be done in Weekway Park. I suggested that the freeholders conduct that walkthrough to the park to work with Mr. Shiala. That went out on the 19th. On 9/29, we confirming dates for the walkthrough, so any freeholders that want to walk, once the date is confirmed, the clerk will send that information to all the freeholders who would like to walk the park with Mr. Wadu and the administration. Mr. Freeholder Johnson stated that work is needed on the bathrooms and buildings in Vailsburg. The administration, we sent the memo to the administration on the 18th, Freeholder, and the response came back on the 29th. If it's not in your package, you should have that at your desk by tomorrow. Mr. Wadu did again question the county discriminates against African American organizations and awarding a contract. That memo was sent out on 9/11. The response came back on 9/29. And again, Mr. Wadu, that letter will be mailed to you on 10/2. And we're not going to send it Pony Express. Thank you so much. And thank you for your comments and your interest in Essex County and the Weekway Park. Do we have any other comments at this time? If not, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.